NCAA season is upon us. That glorious time of year when we get to watch your favorite elites from home and abroad compete every weekend for almost 4 months. It is our favorite time of the year. We're going to break everything down for you in this first weekend. It was like a mini launch of NCAA season. Al Fong has finally been suspended by SafeSport. We're going to give you all the details and tell you why Ellie Black has finally been given the blessings she deserves by her home country. Today is January 5th, 2026. Welcome to the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica. I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. Spencer, should we get to the headlines? Because something I never thought was going to happen finally happened.
Yes. So headline number one, SafeSport has suspended Al Fong, coach at GAGE, for 5 years. So that would be until 2030. And this is after a investigation that was almost 6 years long by SafeSport. Also, Armine Barutian is suspended for 1 year. And Armine was just has been on the floor most consistently with the GAGE athletes and was just the head coach of the Junior Worlds team this past winter. So both have been suspended for physical and emotional misconduct. Jessica, because I know you like to historically contextualize, do you want to give the history?
Yeah, if you're not familiar with these two coaches, but especially Al Fong, they coach at GAGE, and Al Fong is the coach of Julissa Gomez, who broke her neck on vault, and then her breathing tube became disconnected at the hospital in Japan, and then she became brain dead at that point and eventually died. Christy Heinrich, who died of an eating disorder, she said that a judge said something to her, and that was what made her eating disorder start, but she was coached through it by Al Fong. Olympic medalist Courtney McCool and Taryn Humphrey, both coached at GAGE, Kara Aker and Leanne Wong. GAGE responded with a statement, and I guffawed so loudly, Spencer, when I read this. Can you read this statement?
Sure. So this GAGE said, "We have been notified of the U.S. Center for SafeSport's decision regarding allegations that date back more than 3 decades. While we fully support the mission of SafeSport and the importance of creating healthy, safe training environments for athletes, we are deeply disappointed by this outcome and respectfully disagree with the findings. These determinations were made without eyewitness testimony and through a committee-based process. We believe the decision does not fairly reflect the full record or context, and we intend to exercise our right to arbitration. Our focus remains on athlete safety, the well-being of our gym community, and ensuring that this matter is addressed through the proper legal channels. Out of respect for the process, we will not be commenting further at this time."
Okay, first of all, what does it matter if it's been 3 decades? Or what does the context matter if you are accused, as Al Fong is, of allegedly choking a gymnast in the gym? Who cares if it was 50 years ago or yesterday? That's never okay, and you should never be allowed to coach if you've done that kind of violence to another person. That was a disgusting response, as far as I'm concerned. Knowing that specific allegation, there are many others, but that one specifically is so unacceptable that was their response. And in terms of no eyewitnesses, I don't think that's accurate either. You remember when we worked with Scott Reed at the Orange County Register to get the story out that there were 40 SafeSport allegations against Al Fong. What do you think of this overall? Were you surprised it finally happened?
I'm not surprised it finally happened, because I think what we've seen in general from SafeSport, the complaint is that it just takes too long, and these are the main issues, but things do eventually happen. I think a lot of the issue is like, okay, but we don't know whether are you going to announce something tomorrow, or is it going to be 3 years from now? The other thing, like you mentioned about the eyewitness testimony, I was like, yeah, I don't know how the process played out and what, procedural complaints there might be, but like, you want some eyewitness testimony, go on YouTube and search for Ivana Hong News interview from 2009 when she left GAGE. Like, there's very public first-hand accounts that are very easy for anyone to find on the internet. So the lack of eyewitness testimony, I'm like, cry me a river.
Yeah, exactly. And we have been working on, and behind the scenes, I can tell this story on College and Cocktails, so that's kind of our behind the scenes, and we talk about more of the reporting side of what goes on at GymCastic sometimes. So I can tell the full story of some of the things that have happened in the background, and some of the work we've done. But it's been 8 years of reporting on Al Fong's abuse. And this is something that from the very beginning, we did an interview with Ivana Hong, which I will link to. We have done interviews with Karen Humphrey, which she said some weird things about how they were about college gymnastics. And we've also done an interview with Sarah Shire, who talked about this extensively and how her parents questioned them hardcore, why should our kid go here? And she had a very different experience with them in a positive way at the time when we interviewed her. One of the things about, when starting gymnastics was how can we make a difference? There needs to be eyes on this kind of stuff all the time because too much goes on and it slips under the radar. And so I feel like this is a victory for all those 40 who reported on Al Fong and finally have result. You may be preventing future abuse. So hats off to you all. So, and all the reporters that reported on this for a very long time. In the positive news, besides a positive suspension, Melanie de Jesus dos Santos confirms that she is going to return to the gym. Not that she's returning to competition, but returning to the gym. Yes. And this is very exciting. I'm super, super excited. If she only does exhibitions for the rest of her life, fine with me.
Worth it. Fine.
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
As long as, in our dreams, Simone continues doing her tour and calls up Melanie every time and they just play around, fine.
Yeah. I will pay to see that.
I prefer competition. Just if we're taking into account my preferences, like an Olympic gold medal or something, I don't know, whatever you're feeling in your life. But I'll take exhibitions.
What if she just did fun mock meet? They could do a little mock meet at the tour.
What if there was a pro gymnastics league or something?
Oh my God, almost that would be great. Oh yes. We have a couple updates before we get to the rest of the Gymternet news and then everything that happened at the college meets this weekend. We have a store and we have merch in the store and there's lots of fun stuff that you can get and show your gym nerdness, represent your fandom. Oh, I hate fandom. What do I want to say? Let everyone know you love gymnastics, basically, is what you can do with the merch in the store. So check it out, gymcastic.com. Spencer, College and Cocktails is on a different day this week.
We already did one. It was great. Week 2, College and Cocktails, is going to be on Saturday, not the typical Friday. Saturday, January 10th. It'll start at about-ish 3 p.m. Pacific time, immediately following the first session of the Sprouts Quad, which is January. We're calling January Nationals because that's a better name than whatever sponsorship you have. So the session 1 is with Oklahoma, UCLA, Utah, and LSU. We're going to watch them. Then we're going to jump on and talk about everything we saw. And maybe hopefully some competitiveness, some aggression, some rivalry.
Maybe we'll finally get a yellow card.
One can only dream.
Yeah. There is a little teaser of College and Cocktails out now in your feed. If you want to listen to the first 10 minutes of College and Cocktails, you get an idea of what goes on. But we pick a meet, we watch it. We have paired it with a cocktail or mocktail from our bartender, and it's very fun to just get together and chat. That's on Saturday. Live show replay tickets for our live show with Cecile Landy, where she talks about, could Melanie come to Georgia and do gymnastics at Georgia, for instance? Yes, she tells the whole story. Could she come there? That's all in there. And lots of other tidbits that you want to know about the Olympics and her career. And also Levi Younger-Rivavar is going to be a star at Stanford. She is on as well, Olympian from the Philippines. So you can still buy your replay tickets for those if you'd like to watch it. Also, our 2026 live show season pass is available. You get 4 live shows for the price of 3. Only on sale for a limited time. Join the club tab at gymcastic.com. Find it all there. And thank you for your support. Gymternet news.
Tell me about it.
Okay. More discontent in France. Not a surprise.
No.
We have been saying this was going to happen all over again. So you remember all the things that happened with the Olympic champion on bars, competing for Algeria,
Kalian and Moore.
Paulina Moore, even though she grew up in France, trained in France forever, was on the national team. But then the French Federation had issues, some of them with alleged abuse going on at the gym, tried to get her to train elsewhere. She said no. Instead of leaving her coaches, she then moved countries and competed for Algeria. And now she has a book coming out, and she confirms effectively what the French Federation alleged against her coach. However, she said, I dealt with the unacceptable in order to achieve my goal. Now, as we've been predicting, 15-year-old Elena Colas, who is amazing, who we watched at Junior Worlds, where she won a silver medal, the same thing has happened in terms of her not wanting to leave her coaches at all. So she declined an invitation to the French national team training camp in Martinique. How awesome is that they're having the training camp in Martinique, by the way?
Yes, more training camps should be in Martinique.
Let's all go to Martinique. That is, yeah. Like they built, one of the things we found out from Cecile is that they built a beautiful training center in Martinique, which is awesome because for a long time, they have these great athletes from Martinique and they had to leave and go to France. And now they have, in a paradise in the world, they have a training camp.
The French national team can go to Martinique, and the U.S. is going to Indianapolis.
Woo! It's a vacation destination. Everybody knows that. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how the French Federation navigates this because it was disastrous for them the last time, but I think they're holding strong in their condemnation of these coaches. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. You remember what happened before we went on vacation with Chiles, right?
Yeah.
There was a coach there, Sean Gardiner, had abuse allegations. Then they found child exploitative materials. And then it turned out that this was known about, and where his previous employer sent a letter, allegedly, they claimed they sent a letter to Chiles warning them not to hire him. And then, of course, he went there despite these and then committed the same crimes that he had allegedly committed previously. Well, Eddie Pels at the AP is doing a great job in doing these investigative reports on abusive coaches. And right before the new year, he did a report and it showed that SafeSport had not yet banned Sean Gardiner, even though he was arrested for possession of child exploitative materials, which should be an immediate ban. And I know people want to go on vacation at SafeSport, but you had time to ban Al Fong. Well, not banned. He's not banned. It's only 6 years that he is suspended for with no contact. 5 years, sorry. 5 years, no contact. They can still appeal it, but that means like my understanding is they're not even allowed to go into the gym that they own when you have a no contact. So, Eddie Pels looked at this. Sean Gardiner is now on the permanently suspended on the banned list, but in this report, it said that that there had been reports to SafeSport since the inception of SafeSport in 2017 about Sean Gardiner. And yet it took SafeSport 5 years to do any kind of sanction against him. And of course, it wasn't a big enough sanction that allowed him to commit these crimes. So, does SafeSport need more power?
This is the problem. I mean, this is hours-long conversation because on the one hand, you feel like someone needs more power. And it's back to the conversation of, okay, so Armane was the head coach of the junior U.S. Worlds team while this investigation is going on. Because at this point, the way the rules work, USAG has no ability to impose its own punishment on a case that SafeSport has. Like, SafeSport has the jurisdiction. So there's not really, you're just kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs about someone who has all of these accusations against them. So it's, someone needs to be empowered to implement interim at the very minimum, interim consequences of some kind. But I don't know what that looks like in practice.
I think like this comes down to like we need an actual federalized system of anybody that works with kids has to pass and have the same regulations as teachers and daycare systems. Like there's and Hollywood rules. Like someone has to be in visual contact with them, so they can be alone with an adult, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that is the answer ultimately. And do I think that's going to happen in the United States? No, I don't. But I think that's what's needed. Romanian drama continues. And if you wondered if Camila Voina, mother and coach of Sabrina Voina, was going to put up with anybody that she didn't like, you were wrong about that, because an audio recording reveals that Camila Voina urging supporters to attack federal coach Karina Morrison, exposing deep internal power struggles, personal rivalries, and a battle over how the sport should be run. That's according to Galazzo.ro, which have been reporting on this all along. That Karina is one of the coaches that came back, has tried to change things, was there and coaching when the Romanian team finally made it back to the Olympics as a team, and has been there ever since, including at this past World Championships. And she has now been out of work since, along with the athletes, since Romanian Federation said, oh, this is too much drama. Nobody's getting paid. Everybody go home, including the coaches. So this is the retaliation in an audio recording. Man, this is like the deep, when people are having conversation, they know to record it and then send it to the press over how insane the situation is. I love this. I hate it for the gymnasts and the coaches that are trying to change things. I love this for Camilla's not going to get away with shit, hopefully, ever again with this kind of stuff. We already saw the video of her threatening her kid. So, yeah, it continues. Nothing's gotten better, except there's more sunlight on it in Romania. In dumpster fire news, an Orange County coach was arrested in Orange County, California. 24-year-old Jacob Alexander Demon was arrested on Wednesday following an investigation of his alleged relationship with a girl. Like, what the fuck, CBS News? It's not a fucking relationship. You can't have a relationship with a girl under 18. That's not what it's called. As of this reporting, he was employed at Ultimate Ninja's gym in Anaheim Hills. But interestingly, the relationship happened in 2021 when he was working at Firestorm Freerunning and Acrobatics in Santa Ana and Westminster. And you know the thing about Firestorm Freerunning? I thought about going there because I was like, this looks fun, this parkour stuff. And I was like, let me just call them, because I don't want to give money to anybody that's not, it doesn't have the minimum of, I know they don't have to follow SafeSport, but doesn't have a minimum of some kind of safety. So I called them and I was like, hey, do you guys have rules against this and this? Do you videotape? Are you all that kind of stuff? And they were just like, no, we don't do any of that. We don't do that. We don't do that. And I literally told the person on the phone, if you don't have any of these rules in place to stop coaches from grooming children, you are going to have a lawsuit against you and a crime is going to be committed here. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I'm not going to come here. If you guys change things, I would love to check out this parkour gym. And lo and behold, what happened? Because it's fucking obvious that was going to happen. So it makes me really, really mad. And then in the beautiful and great news, Ellie Black.
Putting a bow on the Gymternet news with some happiness.
Yes. Ellie Black got the recognition she deserved. What did her country do for her? Or is it the queen or something? Or the king? What is it now? It's the king? Do they care about the king?
She became head of state?
Yes!
Official head of state of Canada? Ellie Black? They were
Finally.
like, we don't really need the king, because that's not even in this continent. Then that's
you have
so
Ellie
let's
Black.
just replace it with Ellie Black. And I think that's a solid move. So that's what happened, right?
Yeah. She was given the second highest. Okay, come on, Canada. Honor. She got the Order of Canada. Order of Canada. A national honor since the 60s. Dedicated your outstanding achievement, dedication to the community, service to Canadians. That's right. It's a national honor. She still doesn't have the Order of Merit, though, and that one is the highest honor. So, what does she have to do? What more does Ellie Black have to do, Canada?
2028, Ellie.
My God.
Come on, get on it.
She's single-handedly holding up that Nova Scotia airport with all of her flights. So, but congratulations, Ellie. That's awesome. NCAA college season started.
Sure did.
This past weekend, we did our first college and cocktails, and it was very fun. And what do you think? Tell me your thoughts.
It's, an eye for incomplete is what the NCAA is getting so far, because it was such a limited first week of competition. Less than a quarter of the teams in college gymnastics competed this weekend. So it was there was a divide. Most teams saying like, oh my God, that's too early. After New Year's and a break, we're going to fall on every routine. We're not having a meet. Others were either like, no, we need to get on it so we can have a break later, or like, hey, New Year's is for losers, which is the correct opinion about New Year's Eve. It's the artificial endpoint holiday of nothing nonsense. So just skip it and do your routines. And so about a little under a quarter of the teams competed. Thoughts, first of all, first week, you're the head coach of a college gymnastics team. Are you competing January 2nd, or are you like, no?
First of all, hell no. Hell no.
And second of all, hell no.
Absolutely not. Like, do I want everyone? Do I understand that athletes will realize they have to compete and they're responsible and da-da-da? Can you resist the temptation of going out with your friends on the first? No. I mean, a lot of them are total freaks and it wouldn't matter anyway, and they do this all the time. But no, absolutely not. I wouldn't have a meet. But I have to say, compared to the first week of last year when we went to the Oceanside dumpster fire of falling equipment, with no fans. And Oregon State actually looked really good at that meet, but this was a way better first weekend than last.
It was better. It was better than I thought overall.
Yeah.
Overall, I think I expected more. We saw some endurance problems. I expected more. Like, oh, that last pass was, maybe you should have just done a timer. And put a pin in it until next week. I anticipated more just like mental breakdowns on beam where you fell on choreography. I thought there was going to be a lot more of like, oh, I just fell on choreography. Pretend no one was watching. Don't worry about that. So it was still kind of first weeky, but not exceptionally first weeky.
Yeah.
I thought the big story, we'll go into the big story, which I think was Jordan Chiles returning and competing the all-around in the first week, which we knew, she was back. She was at Meet the Bruins from Dancing with the Dancings. But I didn't know she was going to compete the all-around and be at this level of preparation from the first weekend. Scored a 39.725 all-around score. Really excellent performance. Your thoughts?
I've been a Jordan Chiles fan for forever, and I've said since she was like 12 that she was going to be a world champion. And even though that hasn't happened yet, she is an Olympic gold medalist.
Well, she has world gold medals.
She's a world team gold medalist. How dare you?
Champion.
I knew I was right. Oh, really, it's all about me and not about Jordan. Like, this is the thing that every time I see her competing, every time she has been an adult and in control ever since she's been in an adult position to control her training and where she trains and how she does, she has been better in every capacity as an athlete. She has been more consistent. She has been doing her best gymnastics. She has been someone you can count on to hit when it matters. And this is the power of doing gymnastics as an adult. As a grown-ass woman, when you have more experience, you have your own agency, she has been better. And I feel like this is everything she is showing is a testament to that. And it makes me so happy to see her looking so confident and able to also manage. It's another thing. So, there's those gyms that were like, you have to be 16 and never have a period. Like, that was the whole thing back in the day, 20 years ago. And there's still people that think like that. And they would also be like, you can't be on a TV show and do gymnastics. You can't do a commercial and do gymnastics. And she's doing all the stuff and doing gymnastics. Mm-hmm. So
do you feel like, because I get the sense that that's she's of the personality where like having those other things makes her better at gymnastics. Like if it were
Yes.
just the gymnastics, she wouldn't be doing as well because she'd be like overthinking it.
Yes. The
So I
more
think
she is getting attention and accolades and can talk about, she wants to be a role model and that's good for her. That's all good for her. That makes her a better competitor.
what I want to discuss though is I think I agree with everything you're saying about, competing as an adult and improving in time, but I think this was she looks way more dialed in first meet than even compared to last year. Like compared to that Oceanside meet that you just referenced, the first meet last year, where she did great gymnastics and got good scores, but she can, it's Jordan Chiles and she can do that. But then we were also kind of like, oh, she's not really, I wonder why she's not in the beam lineup. Why wouldn't you have Jordan Chiles in the beam lineup? And then we watched her warm up, and I remember sitting next to you when we watched it, and she was kind of half doing a routine. Did she end up exhibitioning? I don't remember exactly, but we saw that. I remember watching that warm up with you and being like, oh, she's not quite ready yet. She was kind of doing like Nabieva Russian era podium training where it's like, I'll do a skill, but I'm going to hop off the beam after every single one. And I'm kind of just like, I'm getting a feel for it. And it wasn't quite there. And this meet, I was like, oh, she is ready. This is like a step up even compared to last season in terms of being like, I'm not just gonna, because Jordan can show up and be one of the best, or like be really dialed in and be like have a historic season. And this is very encouraging. Like that's the best beam routine she's ever done in college. Easily. Right?
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
And the Yurchenko double full. Yeah. I mean, that's a very solid double full that she can stick. The Yurchenko double full on vault, which was, it became the bee in our bonnet last season about how well she was scoring with the round off half on because she was tucking on in the support, like fully tucked in the support phase, which is a major deduction. The Yurchenko double full, I think, is aesthetically, technically in the code, even though it doesn't always applied, the better choice execution wise. So I think overall, and there were still some crazy scores. I thought they went way too soft on her last pass on floor because she was kind of short and hopped. But as a first meet progress point, I think, if this is the starting standard, she's going to have a remarkable season.
Yeah. And I think this is also the first actual preseason she's done with the team. For as much as she could.
She was doing dancing with. She had to.
I know. And obviously she's not going to school in person, I'm sure, and not going to actual practice every single day. But she was there instead of not there at all. And so maybe that's made a difference with like the cohesion of the team too. Like actually being there and participating with everyone and like doing the team stuff. Like that can make a difference too. Then when you trust the people around you. Do you remember the last time an Olympian won the NCAA all-around title?
Not off the top of my head.
Really?
I actually could not tell you the all-around titleists with great accuracy. Is that
so it would be
of the NCAA gymnastics focusing on the team or me? Not remembering things.
Because I remember this one immediately, Bridget Sloan. Even though, obviously, and then before that would have been Coupette, I think. Sam Peshek was the all-around champion
But Bridget won, that's post Peshek. Bridget won twice. One was before. So Bridget, 2013, Peshek and Keitra in 2015, and then Bridget again in 2016.
Oh, yeah, so it was Bridget. Thank you very much. I am right. Yay, I knew I was right. Thank you. Bring my confidence back. Thank you for everybody who went on this journey with us. Spencer, on College and Cocktails this week, I talked to you about how perfect my bowel movements have been. And I know it's your favorite topic, but I just want to say that one of the reasons is because like I've been drinking the Huel Black Edition ready to drink meal. And it's like I had another one right before. And I just feel like, have my bowels been healed? Was I always supposed to be this regular? I don't know this life. And I'm so happy about it. And I feel good. So thanks to Huel. This show is also brought to you by all of the minerals, vitamins, and the good things that are for you that I've been trying to force feed to Spencer all year, all the time. The Huel's Daily Greens, ready to drink. Which, Spencer, what's your favorite one of these?
Peach and hibiscus. That's my go-to.
Okay, I like the apple cucumber mint is my favorite, and I keep these cold in the fridge. Which I also like the Huel Black Edition ready to drink. I keep those in the fridge, which I like the vanilla, and then I want like the one that has it's like strawberry and banana. I especially like about these, which Spencer loves it when I talk about him getting his essential minerals, vitamins, and greens every single day. Because I don't know if you remember that sometimes when we would travel to like worlds and stuff, and I would try to like shove nutritious food at you, and you'd be like, Jessica, leave me alone. Don't
Correct.
touch me and don't try to tell me what to eat. But these, we both like. They're developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians. Yeah, the other flavor that we didn't mention is the blueberry and the apple. They have 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. And this has bubbles, the greens, which I really like because I'm trying not to drink soda. So I'm trying to give myself like a little sweet treat. And I like that it's healthy, but I also get my bubbles in. Only 25 calories. 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar with electrolytes. So Spencer gets all of his energy to do the gifts, right? You're going to do the gifts. Spencer, you guys send in your gifts to Spencer.
Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. Try Huel today with 20% off your purchase for new customers with our exclusive code GymCastic20 at www.huel.com/GymCastic. Use our code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show.
You guys know how I feel about adult gymnastics, and I love it, and everyone should do it, and it'll heal your relationship with gymnastics and make you happy and healthy, and you'll have so much fun. And there's a book out about that now.
In Broken to Unbreakable, the comeback I never saw coming, gymnast Lori Volkomer's first spinal fracture ends her dreams, but the second one does the opposite and leads her back to the gym and competition at 49. Her story shows how this sport can surprise you decades later and open a completely new chapter. Olympic medalist Chelsea Memel calls it a testament to resilience and courage, turning setbacks into comebacks. Get Broken to Unbreakable by Lori Volkomer on Amazon or wherever you buy your books. And remember, you're never too old and it's never too late.
And you can never be old if you do gymnastics. Facts. Okay, let's talk about the teams. Because let me just say, Oklahoma hasn't competed yet. Missouri did, but Oklahoma
Lots of teams
hasn't.
haven't competed yet.
Just so you
but
know,
we're saying
there were no 198s. There was no first meet 198s. Oklahoma competes this weekend. We will watch them and then do college cocktails after.
We might need it, depending on how the scoring goes. This meet's called Make Mine a Double. Okay, UCLA is ranked number 1 after our first-ish week with a 196.975. I want from you, Jessica, to give me your assessment on the performances, particularly the new ones, because we've been very excited. Nola Matthews, Tiana Sumana-Sacra, Ashley Sullivan, elites now in college gymnastics at UCLA. So what were your thoughts?
So happy to see them competing. So happy to see them thriving. Sullivan did a great freaking vault.
So very high. It's like, you're just missing the landing.
Right.
Because it was just like, she's like, you're taking 1.5. Oh,
she's
silly.
like, this is
go on. Oh, go on.
So easy for me.
That was very good.
Yeah, it is one of those things where you like watching everyone, you're like level 10, level 10, level 10, and then you're like, oh, that's an elite. That's why this person was almost on the world team, and
that's why we should have more harsher amplitude and dynamic deductions on vault in college gymnastics compared to level 10.
Right. If it's flat, it's terrifying. Sumana-Sacra, oh my God. She was like, I'm in my element. I could just see her wanting to have a little like Chanel bag on her wrist while she was doing her choreo. She is so confident. Nola did amazing. Also, it's like Nola's doing this fun stuff that's so easy for her. They're all doing skills that are so easy for them. And so they can really perform. And it's like, oh, they landed in the right place. They're on a performance team. And I love that.
Yes, I think that, great job, everyone. My assessment was that it was also kind of a nervy one. Expected nerves, but it was sort of a little like, oh, these are freshmen with a lot of potential, but we did not see everything they can do. I thought Tiana was the closest.
Yeah.
But, like Nola on floor, it was like, okay, she kind of had to get that one out of her system. Choreography was great, but it was like, she was under rotated on her double wolf turn. She was kind of short and some knees on some passes. It was like, my impression was like that they're a few weeks away, but I think you're, once again, encouraged by where they are. And then the people who have been, you saw the progress of the time it takes to adjust to college gymnastics, because compared to Mika Webster Longin, who kind of came in the same situation last year at UCLA, was then like, she performed like, I have a year of this under my belt. I've already done this for a season, and now I'm ready to do more. And so, and then you like go all the way up to Jordan Chiles, who was like, you guys,
so easy.
Watch this. This is how you do it. And you kind of saw that elevation from the years in also, levels of nervousness that's very predictable.
Also, UW sold out their first gymnastics meet ever in the history of having a gymnastics team. And I expect that this will be the Jordan Chiles effect, and that everybody that's competing, all the away meets, will sell out this year. So I hope that all these schools are prepared for that, because I heard...
And take advantage of the marketing opportunity presented. Yeah.
Yes. Do specials on season tickets. Give a speech to the fans while you're there. Be like, we do this every week or every other week, because... but I heard varying accounts of people's parking situations. Some people were like, we didn't have any parking problem. Other one of our listeners got stuck. There's an app that you pay for parking. It was broken, but everyone was like, oh, it must be free. There's no way to pay. And then, are you ready for this? It's a sold out meet.
Mm-hmm.
There was only one exit, first of all, which is dangerous. And it was one of those things where you have to pay with a credit card to get out. She said it took hours to get out of the parking. That is not acceptable. That's not the statement that University of Washington wants to make about women's sports and how they treat women's sports. So UW, fix it, because this could have been a great thing for you.
You're not going to get a lot of sympathy from me. Oh my God, it took an hour to get out of the parking.
More than an hour.
Yeah.
Multiple hours. I will ask the exact number of hours.
Yeah, it's not good, but you're not getting a lot of you're not getting a lot of sympathy from someone who has been to a place called Dodger Stadium before.
This is why you should never go to baseball. Everybody knows that.
Never. I'm like, oh, it only took an hour and a half to get out of there? That's a nice one.
Or what about that other place that's in a bowl in LA and you go to concerts there, and then they just park everybody in like sardines and then leave? There's like no way. There's no.
Oh,
place.
I mean, are you talking? If you want to do, Spencer tells you about how to park at the Rose Bowl, then we
not
can
the Rose Bowl.
A sub podcast about that.
Anyway, we'll talk about this on College and Cocktails at the end.
I'm really not that interested in doing that.
Okay, me either. Parking sucks, enough. But multiple hours to get out, not okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Missouri, because they finished last season second best team in the country on an inquiry. Third.
But,
third best team in the country on an inquiry, because UCLA was second, right?
UCLA finished second. Yeah.
And
Oklahoma won.
I was like, I don't know how it's going to be, because they've lost a lot of people this year. They look great.
Yeah, very strong. I think the sign of a team that's ready to be perennially in the top, because they, like you said, they should be worse this season. Amari Celestine's not there. Jocelyn Moore's not there. Maritita Soleil's not there. And they don't really look any worse. There's a lot of strong routines, not just like bringing in freshmen. And we're going to spend a lot of time this season talking about Kamara Eccles. I feel like she's like 1.5 weeks away from being the star of NCAA. Like, she fell on beam, but almost everything is there. And we'll spend we're going to, you guys just wait. She's going to be Jessica's favorite. But like we're all on board. We all know that like by the end of the season, Jessica will be screaming Kamara Eccles and then yelling, "I told you so." Like, that's just, if you've ever listened to this show before, that's the march we have in front of us. But also people who are not in or were borderline lineup last year, not in the lineup last year, filling those new gaps in the lineup at the same level. So I thought they looked very strong. A very loosely scored meet, I thought, but they were gonna, if they counted a fall on beam, or were at 196.85, so they were gonna be way up there with a hit competition. But yeah, those lineups look very good. They're not as depleted as you might have expected them to be by any means.
Yeah, I was very, very pleased. Also, Mizzou beat UCLA on floor.
Yeah, UCLA didn't have a great floor other than, yeah, I think that was not their strong performance.
Yeah. I want to do a corrupt or correct, where we determine whether the judges were right or not. And we covered the Utah meet against Iowa and Minnesota and college and cocktails.
We rewatched Avery Neff's combination on beam and we were like, oh, no.
Let's discuss this again.
Yeah.
So Avery Neff does on beam, she does an aerial to 2 feet and then jump, quarter turn to Shushanova. And then there was a conference because one judge only gave her a 98 star value and the other one gave a 10, which meant that they did not give the credit for this as a combination. And Spencer, on rewatching this, it's very clear that the judge that gave
I'm not going to say
correct.
Very clear, but I think clear. Yeah, there's a foot movement, there's a foot pivot on landing in between the two elements, which is automatically denies credit. I think it is one of those things that's more evident from the first camera angle than the second when we see like it live and in the replay. But yeah, there's a foot movement in between, and you can't give credit for the combination if you pivot or adjust a foot in between the two elements.
I think the judges have the best angle because they're sitting straight on to the beam and it is sideways to them. And so I think that this judge 2, the 98 judge, was bullied, and we need to give he or her their flowers for getting it correct week 1. So hats off to you. I really hope she keeps this and just keeps trying to get credit because it's so cool and I love it and I want her to keep doing it. Because we just don't see stuff like this very often. Or else she could side flip into it. So she's already quarter turned. What do you think?
I mean, the most boring answer would be have a backup dance combination. She doesn't need she needs to have a dance combination to fulfill the requirement. So you can have a backup, like
switch side Shushanova. The Shushanova staying, Spencer. I'm saying
if you do it and you're concerned afterward, you do split jump whatever.
She should have a backup.
You should have a backup so that you can still keep that and you're not worried about not having a dance combination.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Clemson,
which they probably do have, but she was like, I got it.
Clemson, we have the debut of the new coaches there. Liz and Justin came from Cal, and I was expecting a lot because honestly, I'm like, they're like KJ. Everywhere KJ went, the teams got better, and everywhere that Liz and Justin have gone, their teams have gotten better. Finishing second 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, Cal had second place was their strongest finish. Yes.
So they're at Clemson now, which has, as we know, one of the gymnastics palaces and everything they could possibly want. German superstar, Malevsky,
who did not compete. Do we know Emma Malevsky did not compete?
Yeah.
What's
she
up?
rolled her ankle at the last practice, last thing she was doing before the meet. So I talked to her and she was like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna heal fast, I'm gonna be fine. That was really sad,
devastating. No Emma Malevsky, no Andina Champong competing for Cal. I was like, this is why I'm convinced don't have a meet in the first week, because why would I want to watch anything?
Which we have breaking news as we're recording on. Dean did post on Instagram and she said, in November, during one of my first intra squads back competing all 4 events, I partially tore my ACL. Yes, the same one. Smiley face. After trying to make it work, my entire medical team and I decided that surgery was the best way to go. Just praying that this second ACL reconstruction will be my last.
But yeah, Clemson won their meet against Towson with a 196.15. I think breaking a 196 for the first meet, new coaching staff is a win. That's a solid result. I mean, their peak last season was like a 196.5 for the whole season. So
Yeah.
I think that's a solid trajectory. We saw the thing I like to see was the vault variety, which we've seen on this team before, but now they also have Brie Clark adding in a Souk Fall. So all of the first four vaults in the lineup were different vaults. They had 4 different vaults in their 6, which is for college gymnastics. I will take it
Rare.
in terms of compared to a lineup where everyone is doing a Yurchenko full or Yurchenko 1.5.
Yep.
Which, yeah, I don't think there should be a rule against it because I don't think that practically works. I'm just saying it's more fun when you're doing different things. Oregon State had a few different vaults. There's some teams doing something that wasn't just, the same old vault, and I appreciated it.
And Towson, we had Minervini,
very nice on bars.
I just fully Greek goddessed her name. She is now Minerva Minervini forever, and she lives on Mount Olympus. And
yeah, you've Roman goddessed her.
That's not a Roman goddess. That's a Greek goddess.
I thought
Minerva.
Yeah.
All right, now we have the fact checker. Could you get on that? Maybe Minerva is.
Because she's the Roman version of Athena.
Oh, then maybe she is. I'm not so good with the Roman gods. They did all that nasty stuff, like turn someone to a tree because
they're the same gods.
I know they are. They're just
they're all as vengeful as each other.
They're all the worst. The old gods. They're not really nice in any culture. Yeah. But yeah, Minervini, Roman goddess of wisdom, strategic warfare.
Yeah.
It's
Roman
identified with the Greek goddess Athena. Yeah. She does a half-in front. So it looks like an Arabian double front, but it's not quite an Arabian double front because the turn, but it's really, really cool. And she's great on everything. And I have her as my all-arounder in the fantasy.
Great work.
Thanks so much.
Did you submit your team on time?
No, for next week. I have her on there for next week. So I'm going to have a 0 week, but there's weekly winners. So there's, yeah. Okay.
And Cal also. We didn't have a lot of close meets this weekend, so I invented a meet called Cal versus Clemson, who's going to score higher. And Clemson won by 0.15. They got 196.15. Cal 196 flat. We got to see, I mentioned we didn't see on Dean, but we got to see Tanya Paulson debut. She competed 3 events, and there was an exhibition on beam as well. Bars.
Tanya Paulson, one of the Swedish goddesses.
Swedish and Taiwanese.
When
you compete for 2 countries in your elite career, you are in 2 different pantheons.
There you go. And now she's in the pantheon of Cal.
Because her bars routine was beautiful, obviously. Toe point. Execution.
If you love Tirasole's bars, if you love McCool's gymnastics, if you love Podkopaeva, absolutely perfect form and leg form to die for that should be in a museum, that's Tanya Paulson.
Yes, correct. And I think just overall, a really important result for Cal as well, because we looked at coaches left, no Maya Lazan. No Maddie Williams, MJ Frazier transferring to Florida. Like, it was a possibility that it was going to be like a season for Cal. So getting out there 5th among the teams that competed, but still 5th solid, 196 solid. I think it was just an important result for the whole team and the new coaching staff to establish, like, still a really talented team. A lot of good gymnasts here, a lot of good gymnastics. I think, there's not... it maybe assuage some concerns. I would say that performance, that was a solid point for, it's not going to be as strong as it was last year. It never was going to be, but with, a lot more you can add also, because Tanya Paulson was only in the exhibition on beam. I'm like, she wobbled. Who cares? That form, she needs to be anchored.
Yes, exactly. I agree. Who is in your pantheon of leaps?
Oh, I do. Thank you for the prompt, because we need to do spotlight leaps. Paulina Vargas. She's a sophomore at Oregon State. She didn't compete last year, and we saw her mostly junior elite. Like, she was at the Youth Olympic Games competing for Mexico in 2018. We saw her at junior competitions around then, very limited senior elite career. We barely saw her compete, and then didn't compete her first season at Oregon State. And I was kind of like, oh, it's not injuries. We're not, she can't do it. That sucks. We're not really going to see her. And then came out and competed floor week 1 for Oregon State. And I was like, oh, this is the sign. Tumbling is stupid. Just do leaps forever. That is the rule. I want to see you get rid of do a 0 pass floor routine. Just do leaps. I'm fine with it.
And that's
the reality of the 2 pass discourse.
Yes.
If no one cares if you do only 2 passes, if your leaps look like Paulina Vargas.
Mm-hmm. And they took really nice advantage of that. They were like, you don't have to do Popa, do a full twisting split jump as your second connected jump. It's beautiful. That's also something for credit. Everybody doesn't have to be all straddle jumping all the time.
Good point.
Save.
Really
right?
good point.
Thank you.
Fewer straddle jumps, more split jump falls. That is how we differentiate.
Exactly.
The other way we differentiate is if someone packs a wolf jump full as a third jump on the end of a combination and their top leg is at 45 degrees, you gotta cut that out right now. You gotta cut that down to size.
So their bottom leg is facing 45 degrees it's pointing at the ground, not pointing at the ceiling.
The wolf is not well, is what we're seeing. The wolf is not alert to danger. The wolf is asleep.
What we want is a Canadian wolf bird. That is how you know
that wolf needs to be able to protect the family, not looking at its paws, licking a toy. That's what.
Did you get my reference right there?
I wasn't.
Canadian wolf bird.
What is a Canadian wolf bird?
Oh my God! Have you not finished Heated Rivalry yet?
Oh, okay. I have not. No, I have not.
Yeah, I'm coming to the cabin. So good, you guys. I resisted that. We made it 51 minutes. I could make the whole thing references. Oh my God. Okay, anyway. It's spectacular. Okay. The show.
Okay.
That was the perfect transition. Heated Rivalry to the show. Mm-hmm. Who was the show this weekend? When you stopped watching Heated Rivalry to watch Gymnastics.
Yeah, the less good one. Okay. Someone who was not competing but was the show this week was Nina Ballou at LSU's exhibition because, oh my God, she is too ready for college gymnastics. She sold that dance through. Yes. She was like, we aren't even doing passes and you're not going to be worried about the fact that you have to compete next week and you're maybe everyone's only doing disconnected passes. And you're just going to focus on the fact that she sold her dance through at an exhibition the most of anyone doing a floor routine this week for any school.
Yes.
And she already had 15 different celebrations in her intro. And I'm like, so she's ready. She has a repertoire of celebrations ready to go. So she's going to be a thing.
She's so going to be a thing. And I wonder, the dance was actually good and the choreo was good. And I don't wonder, is it just that she can do it? Or is it is McCool branching out, or is McCool not doing the choreography, or did she come in with this? It's not on brand, I would say, for LSU. They've had
performance ability is a huge part of it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and being able to use that music, the musicality was great. So yeah, look out for her. I would like to mention an exhibition routine, which wasn't the great routine. It wasn't the greatest routine, but Sage Curtis at Utah, I just loved her floor routine because of the musicality and she could sell the dance, and she did a little wiggle into the wolf turn position, which is the correct way to get into the position, by the way. And also she did one of my favorite things at the end of her routine, and if you're a visual listener, we'll watch this again really quick. She just did a weird ass flip, which she did basically a backwards butterfly / a back dive in the horizontal plane instead of the vertical plane to her knees, and it's just so cool. And I love that stuff. Love that stuff. I enjoy it so much. You know, the other person that I thought this must be an homage, right? Because did you watch? It was Bree Clark at Clemson. I know we already talked about Clemson, but Bree Clark, she didn't do the biles this time.
No, she did double A.
To a double layout, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I feel like once you do a piles, you can't put it back in any sort of containers or pockets or
the genie's out. Well, you gotta save it for maximum impact. I feel like if in the era of NIL, if you're gonna really like, you gotta have a marketing strategy for that. You gotta bring that out at the moment of like, is this gonna get on the Sports Center top 10? Like, remember when Suni did the Nabieva on bars at Auburn, and then she was on Sports Center, and they called it a toe touch Nabevia. This is the important thing.
Touch. Oh my god, it was so insulting.
Or Nabevia toe touch move. That's what I call it in my head because of that Sports Center person that time. The Nabevia toe touch move.
I loved how many backspins there were at the Clemson routines. I was like, yes, this is what we want. Everyone wants a backspin. But Bree Clark, she didn't do the biles, but she did do the whole. Remember the old ending when Simone was little that she did in her routine? She'd do like cartwheel, back extension, half turn into roll up and straddle, half turn butt bounce to like put her hands behind her.
Okay, yeah, I'll go there with you.
Oh my God, Spencer, it's iconic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like Simone when she was little? Like, I don't know Simone's routines when she was little.
No, she did it through like 2020.
Oh, I think you. Okay, when you say when she was little, I'm thinking
she also did it when she was like 9. She never took it out. I mean, why do it when it's iconic? That's how.
Okay.
But it's that like straddle roll with straight legs, half turn butt bounce to Archie thing. So Bree Clark put that in the middle of her routine as a like side pass, and I was like, oh, that's a lovely homage to Simone. I mean, there needs to be, an interview about it, and there needs to be make a theme. Mm-hmm. We've been telling you, coaches, please, we're trying to tell you how to do this with the marketing. So, So I loved seeing that. We did have a sort of concerning meet debut.
Well, there were a few. It wasn't all sunshine and roses. It wouldn't be an assessment of college gymnastics if it were all positive, because we don't go in for that nonsense. We don't go in for that. Let's all just hit like, we're going to talk about what was wrong. And I'm not mad, I'm worried about you news. Iowa State, are you okay? Because Iowa State scored a 191.325, which is their lowest score since 1999. And maybe it's like, oh, this was the first meet, and what happened to us is what you expected to happen to more teams, and we were just like splatted on everything, and everyone was nervous and not quite ready, and we need to just gear up and gear into the season. Fine, great, I hope so. But I was like, oh, that's a very low score.
Yeah. I was slightly worried too.
So I was just kind of concerned. Iowa State, I'm worried about you. Let's bring it. We're going to bring it back up. Because we had such high hopes when Ashley Miles took over that this was going to be like Iowa State was going back to how good they were when KJ was there. And we haven't seen it yet. And this was a worrying first performance.
Yep. I have a question for you before we finish this week's show. And I feel like, we've covered so much of why Russia is not allowed to, the Russian athletes are not allowed to compete in the Olympics under the name of Russia and all of the things. Now that the United States has invaded another country, bombed it, and kidnapped the sitting president, should the United States be allowed to compete? The Olympics be here?
You can't throw these questions at me without putting them in the outline first, because I need to like compose a response. You answer that for yourself.
I think that the rules about which athletes are allowed to compete has always been totally unfair, because if you look at the history of the United States and everything the United States has done and all of the dictators they've deposed, which I'm putting that in quotes because they have destabilized so much of the world and committed so many war crimes. Vietnam. I watched a documentary about who's the journalist? It was Seymour. What's his name? Seymour Hersh. You know Seymour Hersh? Anyway, watch a documentary about him and his career and the things that he's exposed, which is on Netflix, which is not easy to watch. And it was very inspiring. But also, I learned things that I had never heard of that happened in Vietnam, and they're documented and photographed. And I was like, based on that, the United States should be a pariah, never allowed to compete in anything again. But then again, as an American, and I'm sure there's many Russians that feel like this too, that they're like, I didn't vote for this. I didn't condone this. I know this is illegal. So why am I punished for what this idiot is doing? So, and yeah, two things can be true at once. Like, we know that there can be a dictator doing terrible things, and also that the process of relieving that dictator of duty is a war crime and totally illegal. So I just think it's important to look inward when we are looking at what's happening in the world and what's happening in the with the Olympics and what they're deciding. I also think there's no way in hell this has been a point of discussion this week, and I think there's no way in hell they are going to move the Olympics. It's like impossible at this point. It's too close. It's too much to do. That's not going to happen. But do I think that it would be the right thing to do? Yes. So yeah. But there is a Winter Olympics about to happen. I always forget about the Winter Olympics.
Oh,
but
poor Winter Olympics.
Oh, but they do have the figure skating. Oh, and they do have the flipping on skis. Gymnastics, but make it 100 times more dangerous. Flipping on skis. I do enjoy watching that.
I mean, it is fun to watch the Winter Olympics as a gymnastics nerd, and when they have all those heavy things on their feet in the various sports, and you're like, this leg form. What are we? I don't want to see these knees look like this. Why aren't your toes pointed?
Exactly.
Well, you have a ski on it. You have an ice skate on it. Well, get rid of it and point your toes.
Did you ever watch that ski ballet that they had? Remember when people would they would like do a flip on their ski rods, and then they would like twirl and stuff downhill? Did you ever watch that? It was like an exhibition sport one time. And they did it to music. So it was like a choreographed dance with flippies on a hill of snow. It was weird. Very cool, though, but weird. And I feel like that is really the power of the Winter Olympics, is weird things in snow that no one should ever do. Okay. It probably evolved for a good reason. Like pole vaulting, that's a useful thing. Like, that could be well, let me tell you. This is what they used to get across the canals.
Do you do a lot of pole vaulting? Just in your everyday, your regular Tuesday schedule? Is there a lot of pole vaulting going on there?
A lot of in the places with canals, they would pole vault over them. So you put your stick in and then you jump over. I'm not saying they run and do the thing and yeah, come on.
But there's got to be better ways to do that, right?
A bridge, Yeah. But they didn't have all this infrastructure. This is taking, hundreds of years to build up all the structure we have.
I'm not talking about, I don't live then. I'm talking about now.
I am just talking about how these sports developed, like what they came from. Like pommel horse came from jumping on and off an actual horse. And
stapling handles onto the top of a horse will probably be fine.
So, this is why I feel like, pommel horse should probably retired when the car came along. But no offense to Netterosh.
What about pommel car? If you just make it pommel horse, but make it shaped like a car, and then put some handles on the top.
And then in the snow, and this is a great winter sport, and probably less dangerous, because when you hit the ground and you fall off, you'll just slide instead of just mushing.
I feel like it's going to be harder to do like a Russian circle if it's a car.
Yeah.
Like that's you're not keeping those legs elevated.
Yeah, that's true. It would have to be much further away. It would be way harder to do on top of a car.
But it would just encourage more people to do like flare and spindle skills if you're doing it on top of a car.
But it's going to be so much harder to do those.
Even ad campaign. Just do it on top of a car.
We have so many ideas for you. Netterosh, give us a call. Okay, so this week, College and Cocktails, Saturday, not Friday night. Saturday is College and Cocktails. January 10th, around 3 p.m.ish, after we watch the Sprout Squad session 1, which is Oklahoma, 198 watch, UCLA, Utah, and LSU. So it's going to be good. Also, live show season pass is on sale now. You can also watch the replay of the live show we did with Cecile and find out all the things about Melanie and Georgia. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page because we have a fantasy show for you. Yes, one podcast a week? That's for the week. No. We do 3 during college season. 3 podcasts. We do this one, give you all the news, and we talk about our favorite things that happen. And then we do the fantasy podcast where we tell you who you should put on your fantasy team and who's doing well and who's a steal and who's worth all the gym rubles. And then we have College and Cocktails where we pick a meet, watch it, make our delicious mocktail or cocktail, and then we discuss it as a family immediately after the meet. So make sure you sign up for all of our YouTubes, that too, but our newsletters. There's 3 of them. And until Saturday or Wednesday for the fantasy show, then Saturday for College and Cocktails, remember to take up on gay, split on rights. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the fantasy show.